Hi, how are you? Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. If you are here live with me, thank you for watching. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here. I am really excited to share this topic with you today because it's so good, and it's something that I sat down with and I listened because Spirit said, like, there's something on your heart that needs to be shared, and this is it. And when I did it prematurely, out of making a non-sovereign choice, it went kind of meh, in which I'm going to talk about that. So if you're here live, please say hello. If you're watching the replay, please say hello as well. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today when you could be doing so many other things, but you're here learning about this, empowering yourself, and all the beautiful things that you're going to receive from this. So if you don't know who I am and you're watching me for the first time, my name is Jessica Lozano, and I am a sovereignty priestess helping women reclaim the truth and power of who they really are. I love saying those words so much. It just feels so good because I know what it's like on the other side when you just don't know who you are, when you don't know your own power, when you don't know your truth, and it's like you're a fish out of water trying to survive, and you're like, I don't know who I am. I don't know my truth. I'm powerless, which is not a great feeling. It's not a great feeling. So be able to know your own sovereign divinity is like the best gift that you can give to yourself. So I want to start off with the last live that I did, because even though it's a concept that I really wanted to talk about, like the grow and go concept for me profoundly helped me to stay settled and to be able to trust that life was really going to, the relationships that were meant to be in my life were either going to grow and evolve with me, or they were going to naturally just fall away. So it was very, 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 very important for me, and I really wanted to share that with you, because if I felt like that, I know there's somebody else that feels like that, because we often think that we're alone and we're the only ones that experience certain things when that's not true. So I knew if I was feeling like that, there was other women that were feeling like that, and that message also needed to get out, also needed to be heard, right? And I did, but I had this old programming in my mind, right? I knew I wanted to talk about it, and I was like, I have to do it Friday. For some reason, I was convinced in my head I had to do it Friday. And I know why, because I put it on my calendar. I needed to do this, right? And I had this conditioning, this old paradigm conditioning, this old paradigm programming, this fear that if I didn't do it then, right, that it wouldn't get out, it wouldn't be seen, it wouldn't be heard. You know, it's something I really wanted to talk about before I started the program, you know. Being very transparent here, right? Going live is a way that I want to talk about the certain things that are in the program that I'm going to be sharing. So I wanted to share that with you. And with old programming, old conditioning from coaches that were in the old overcompensating masculine energy, if you don't show up, people will forget about you type of thing, right? Or you're not doing enough. Even though it didn't feel right, like the whole message didn't fully land on how I wanted to say it to you, and then also because I was having this fear-based decision, this fear in my mind, I made a decision that was premature, out of my sovereignty, not fully with integrity with me and my higher self. I didn't take the time to sit and be like, okay, Jessica, higher self, my spirit guides, help me out here. This is what I'm feeling. I listened to the programming and conditioning that was given to me before, and the fear that's acting out of sovereignty, right? So what happened? Stumbled over my words. I didn't feel very certain at some points. You probably, if you watch it, you probably felt that energy. You probably felt that wobble energy within me. And then after I was done, I was like, oh, I don't know. I re-listened to it. Some parts were good. Other parts were like, oh God, Jessica. Ugh. And I was seeking for validation. I was like, will somebody like it? Will somebody comment? Somebody tell me that I was good enough, right? So when I made a decision out of not in sovereignty, out of it, I was seeking validation from others, seeking validation for people to tell me that I was good enough. Like, okay, at least higher self, you tell me, spirit guides, you tell me I was good enough. Somebody tell me, right? And it created this headache in my mind, like this pressure in my head, like, oh God, I don't feel good. Like, it was just like questioning myself. Am I good enough, right? Going down that rabbit hole. And if you've been down that rabbit hole, which I know everybody on this planet has been down that rabbit hole, it doesn't feel good. And then you put all this pressure, your body, for me, my shoulders tighten, my eyes get really heavy, and I get like this, it's not a headache, but it's this like sensation in my head of just like this, right? If I was doing this to my head. But on a good note, because I know how to crawl my way back out of that, I know how to realign myself, and I noticed what was happening. I catched myself. I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then I realized, and I made that really beautiful post of validation, right? So my making a mistake and recorrecting it really helped me see the bigger picture and really see what I was doing. And I made a beautiful post on validation. If you have not seen that post, I highly recommend that you go read it, because it's really good. So what happened is that I was coming from, I have my notes here if you see me looking down. So it's not that I'm shy, just like looking at my notes. Want to make sure I follow it through. So what happened here was I was operating, which is the thing that I want to share with you about what saved me and what set me free. I was operating from a disempowered feminine and from an overcompensated masculine energy. That was the energetics going on. And once I share this, I think it's going to be a lot of aha moments with you. At least for me, whenever I learned about the masculine, feminine energy, when I keep deepening my knowledge on it, I know I'm just like, whoa, my mind is blown, right? So what happened, I was operating between these two things, and that's how I was operating in my relationship. So if you haven't heard me speak about it online, my previous relationship was a dysfunctional, unhealthy, toxic, codependent, addictive, put all the words on it. That was a relationship, right? So I was operating and making decisions like I made Friday, like that. Decisions not in alignment, from a disempowered, from old programming, from old conditioning, from fear, from not good enough, from all of those things. And then my overcompensated masculine trying to protect me, either executing prematurely, making decisions prematurely, or what happened afterwards, right? My masculine not being able to hold me, that's the decisions that I ran with in that relationship, on small scale and on huge scales, right? Until I decided differently. And I'm going to give you the first piece here with what saved me. What really saved me, and what continues to save me every single time, to get me out of the pain, out of the suffering, is the sacred feminine, through her grace, her compassion, and her love. So the sacred feminine is in you. Okay, this is not something that's outside of you. You can call on sources. You can call on, different ascended masters. You can call on the feminine energy out there, the goddess energies, and all the other goddesses out there. But what really is that you have your own feminine, your own beautiful, sacred, divine feminine inside of you. And she is the one that saved me, right? Because really nobody outside of you can save you, only you. Only you are the one who can drink the water. Like, the whatever they say, when you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. You're the one that saves yourself. And the feminine energy is what saved me. She's the one that showed me compassion for myself, right? To not judge myself, to not judge myself for allowing certain behaviors to happen to me, to not judge myself for making mistakes and hurting people and making decisions that weren't that had a really bad ripple effect onto others, right? Self-acceptance, love. I am enough. That is the sacred feminine. That is the beautiful energy, feminine energy within you that brings you back home, that takes you out of suffering, that takes you out of, grabbing the life, what's it called when you're drowning and you're something, what's up, Joanne? That said, not lifeline, the lifeboat, whatever that thing is called, lifesaver, right? The lifesaver, the sacred feminine just, makes you feel at ease with who you are. Let me see it. I know there was something else I wanted to say. So, yeah, that was a part of me that was, so the disempowered feminine was the part of me that was in my own pain. She did not have grace, so grace in forgiveness for myself, for the pain that I caused others. Forgiveness for, and grace and compassion for allowing myself to make mistakes. Allowing myself that you're human. You're not perfect. Like, it's going to happen. That's grace. That no matter whatever decisions you made that were so awful, you are forgiven. That is the sacred feminine, right? That is the feminine energy. And the opposite of that was what I was in before. Nothing you ever do is good enough. There's always something that you're seeking outside of you. You're seeking self-love out of somebody else. You're seeking approval from somebody else, acceptance from somebody else to tell you that you're enough. That's all outsourced. That's all disempowered, because it's only last as long as that person says you are good. How the hell can you live a life like that? How can you be in a relationship and stand in your own integrity in a relationship? You can't, because you're always waiting for that other person to say you're good enough, you're good enough, you're good enough, you're good enough. Yes, I approve. Yes, I approve. Yes, I approve. And then you're always not going to make decisions that are really aligned for you, because you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody in your life, right? Yeah, you just can't. Everyone's going to have their own opinions. So true. I used to believe that I needed someone else to make me feel complete. I have been struggling with trying to be in union with my twin for 22 years, and I finally released the illusion that I could control anything. I just offer unconditional love and accept that things will happen how they are meant to be. Yes, absolutely. Amen. I'm really sorry that you're struggling with your twin. I know how that is. Like, me and my brother, we don't talk because, it's just, he's not in a good place right now, but I trust and allow things to accept where they are, and trust that life will sort everything out, and that I actually feel him more present in my energy right now. So I really feel like he's going to be making a turning point. So yes, unconditional love also is the feminine too, giving yourself unconditional love, giving others unconditional love, because how you are with yourself is what you're going to give to others, right? You can't accept others and let people be enough if you're not that within yourself, right? It's just how it goes. So the feminine saved me. She made me feel at home with myself, right? What set me free was the sacred masculine. The masculine, I love the masculine so much. Your inner masculine, your inner sacred masculine is the one that takes the action and sets you free to express, to be who you are, to say something and back it up with your word, right? Or to do something, you have to say something and back it up with your word and your actions. The masculine is the one that sets the boundaries, right? For people to know it's not okay for you to cross here. The sacred masculine is also the one that says, yes, this is what I want, and I'm going and taking action to this, right? The masculine is everything that has to do with action and the physical things that you do. And He also is the one that creates a safe container. He creates like a safe container to hold, right? So, what I was operating before was in a very overcompensated masculine, because the masculine also wants to protect, right? You know, think of male, even though both male and females have this energy, but the males are naturally more inclined to want to protect. They want to protect the women. They want to protect the home, right? So your inner masculine wants to protect. So when it's overcompensated, it's overprotecting. Just think of a wounded warrior, a wounded soldier that's like PTSD, like anything is triggered, like overly, like that is overcompensated masculine, right? So I was operating on that, and I was just defending, triggering, like all of these things. I wasn't free. I was a prisoner in my own reactions, right? And also, I didn't follow through on my word, right? That's why with men, their word is everything. Your inner masculine is the one that says, I'm going to do this and follow through. I didn't have that. I had no backbone. I had no conviction with my word. My word didn't really mean much. Yeah, whatever. And then also, I would just cave. I didn't have a backbone. My masculine was just like listening to the feminine. The feminine's like, hey, I need to do this for this person because I don't feel good enough. And he tells me if I change the way that I dress, if I change the times that I meet my girlfriends, if I, talk a certain way, if I, don't follow my desires, even though I really want to take on this job opportunity, but he needs me over here, he tells me he'll love me and I'll feel good enough. And that's what I really want. So masculine caves, listens to the feminine. The masculine feels the most strong when the feminine feels the most safe. From my experience. So the sacred masculine is the one that authentically expresses yourself, right? That is the one that has the self-leadership, because the masculine is always looking forward, always going forward, right? The feminine is very mysterious. There's really she can be a little aloof sometimes. That's why the masculine is the one that really is the one that can set the boundaries and go forward. So that's why the masculine is the one that sets you free. The sacred masculine. Not the wounded one, not the old paradigm that we're talking about with the patriarchy and all of that stuff. That is all wounded. Sounds like me a little while ago. Yeah, I'm so happy that you're coming through, Jamie, and that you're breaking free from all that programming and conditioning. So you need both of these energies to be in balance when you're going to be making decisions. So you don't end up all wobbly and you don't second guess yourself, and you follow through on what you're going to say with conviction, with your own personal authority, with your own personal power, with the whatever creativity, because what also happened to me with that Friday is the creativity didn't fully land. So it's just, winging it. Not really winging it, but, just stumbling over everything. It's so heavy to live like that. It is. Oh my God. Yes, Jamie. It's so heavy to live like that. It's literally like you're shackled. You're shackled. Your ankles, your wrist, your mouth. You're shackled in life, walking through life from a disempowered being. It's not how we're meant to live. We're not meant to live like that. We're meant to be fully expressed. We're meant to follow our desires. We're meant to make mistakes and learn from it. Life isn't meant to be, perfect, which is why we got to give ourselves grace when we do fall into old habits, or we continue certain dysfunctional patterns. We are the ones that bring ourselves home, and we are the ones that make these changes for ourselves so we can break these dysfunctions, right? The most powerful energies is that sacred feminine and that sacred masculine. And knowing when you're operating from the opposite, so that you can catch yourself and say, oh, okay, I need to do something different here. So that's how you change patterns. You got to really catch yourself, be aware. and start making something different that moment that you catch it, which is also emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, I would say, is a lot more masculine energy, in my opinion, if you were going to classify them into any of these two. So, all right, so making a sovereign decision is knowing when you are coming from, where you're coming from, and when you feel out of alignment, are you feeling insecure and making a decision? If not, wait. That's what the grow and go concept was from Friday. Like, it's okay to take your time and to be patient and wait for that full thing to land. It took me 2 years when I really made that decision, like, I need to save myself. I don't know what's happening here in this relationship. I just know that I'm suffering. I feel heavy. I feel shackled. I need to change. And when I started to, I lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, when I started to make more decisions within myself. 2 years, that's where I was at, 2 years. I had to really, before I made that decision of that final, like, bye-bye, you are no good for me, is because I knew. I came from there was no wobble. Not like the first 2 times. I wasn't sure the first 2 times. That's why I came back. That's why I came back again. These energies were in place, and I believe that I was meant to be in that relationship. That was part of my contract that I made on earth before I came down, to be like, all right, you're going to experience this because you're going to teach this. Right? And 2 years, but within those 2 years, I was really climbing. Like, there's a lot of other beautiful things that happened in my life. I was able to make the highest ever made in my career during that time as a personal trainer. I was able to buy my own condo. I healed my body. My brother, Jamie, that no longer, we stopped talking again, but he came back into my life, and we were able to kind of reconcile a little bit of our relationship, and then things kind of went backwards, unfortunately. But, you know, like, a lot of amazing things happened during that time when I was with him. We even got engaged. Things were kind of actually looking better for us. But moved in and things started going backwards. So it was another opportunity for me to start reclaiming again that sacred feminine, that sacred masculine, and start integrating more and observing more until I was so aligned with my decision. This sovereign choice, my choice to say, no, goodbye. And I just knew it. And that's how really I believe that most of our decisions should be made. However, we're human, we make mistakes, and we also learn from those mistakes, right? Like I did Friday, like I did in all the mistakes that I made in my life. But we learn from it, we come out of it, and we say, okay, what happened here? How can I do better? Where was my feminine? Where was my masculine? Where was I seeking validation? Was I coming from fear? Was I coming from programming and conditioning? And that's how we save ourselves and we set ourselves free. And we have no wobble when we make that assertion of, like, this is what I know I need to do. So what I want you to do today is start observing yourself and your life, or journal. Like, you can think back. Where am I making decisions out of programming, conditioning, and fear? Like old programming, old conditioning, and fear. Where am I making these decisions in my life? Because these are decisions that you are making out of somebody else told you to do these things. Programming, conditioning, and fear from the past, right? Then I want you to see, where can you bring in more of that sacred feminine in your life to save yourself. No one can do it for you. Not a man, not money, not even God. Like, you have to make that decision. You have to declare that for yourself. I had to cut off the last 2 years. I sacrificed myself for what I thought I should be. Yeah, it took so long to love me. I 100% understand where you are, and I'm so happy that you are loving yourself. That is the best gift you can give yourself. Congratulate you. Like, really, I really do. because I know what that sacrifice, right? Like you're sacrificing, and like that's an old conditioning too, an old programming. Like if I sacrifice, there's a reward. The more you sacrifice, the more the reward. The harder you work and like tear yourself apart, which is rewarded in our society. Now we're changing that paradigm. But if the harder you work and the more you sacrifice your life and who you are, then like, wow, look at her. Oh my God. Look how amazing, she's trying so hard. Thank you, Jamie. And then we are like rewarded for that. We're praised for that. Like people would tell me and him all the time, which is one of the reasons why I also held on to this relationship, because it was just like, if we make it, can you imagine the story that we'll have? I'm going to have this huge reward afterwards. And no, that's not how it is, because relationships, I believe, are not meant to suffer. Challenges, yes. Pain, perhaps, perhaps you hurt each other, but suffering, no. I don't believe relationships are supposed, not from what I experienced, and not what I'm experiencing currently right now in my relationship. As a matter of fact, when you have a stable relationship, what I have found is now that you have to actively, like, there's no need for to fix or to like heal, right? Like in my previous relationship, there's always some kind of healing, always something that had to that kind of kept the excitement of the relationship. So when you're in like a stable relationship, you have to go off of desire of like, I desire for us to be even better. I desire for us to keep expanding. Because then I think that's where the comfortableness comes in, is where you're just like, oh, there's no need, everything's stable, everything's okay. So now it comes from like that pure raw desire, like what can we create together? And I feel like that is a fun place to be in, right? So look where you need to have more grace, more compassion, more love for yourself, that sacred, like saving yourself. I am whole and complete. I am enough as I am right now. I am enough where I am in my life, where your financial situation is, where your relationship status is, where you live, the car you drive, the career you have. I am enough as I am right now. I forgive myself for the decisions that I've made, or at least I'm willing to forgive myself. Just having that willingness also it opens up doors. You release that resistance of I'm not forgivable, I'm willing to forgive this other person. I don't know how, but I'm willing. Like that just loosens up that resistance. And then look where you can set yourself free with the sacred masculine. Where can I be more authentically expressed? Where can I dress more like me? Where can I, I don't like these clothes anymore. These are just outdated. Like they don't feel like me, but I have them because, whatever reason, whatever. I'm going to express myself really more how I am. There's something I need to say. I'm going to say it, with good communication. I need to voice this out. Whether it's telling somebody something, setting your voice free in that way. Whether it's journaling something, that in itself is setting yourself free. Or whether it's making a post, whatever it is, and maybe not even posting it. Where do you need to voice and be your authentic expression? That's how you get yourself out of the cage. The feminine she will find the beauty in anything. She can be in a cage and find the beauty. The masculine is the one that wants freedom. Feminine craves love. The masculine craves freedom. Right? Take that action. Where can you do that one little baby step into that? Or huge step. Maybe there's a huge step that you want to take and you're ready for it. You're ready. It's scary, right? Because the masculine is also that courageous one that walks through fear, right? That inner warrior in you. But sometimes you're ready, and that actually taking that courageous step is going to break down old programming. That is also available for you. There's so many things that you can do. So that completes what I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to now pivot into the program that I'm going to be starting on Tuesday. So if you are complete and you got everything that you needed from this conversation, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. And if you think that there's someone that can benefit from hearing everything that I just shared today, please share it. I would greatly appreciate it. This message needs to get sent out. People need to hear how they don't need to sacrifice themselves any longer. They don't need to feel heavy. They don't need to be weighed down, and they have the power to do that within themselves. So thank you. I love you. And now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Sovereign Woman. So the Sovereign Woman is a 5-week program that I've created out of all the modalities, and the modalities that really helped me set myself free and save myself. So what I talked about today with the masculine and feminine energy is what we're going to be talking on the last week. Because the first week, we're really going to focus on reconnecting with your higher self and knowing how your higher self talks to you, because there's 4 specific ways that your higher self talks to you, and it's really important to know this. I did not have this knowledge in the beginning, and I feel like if I had this knowledge, it would have helped me a lot more. So we're going to really reconnect with your higher self on the first week. The second week, we're going to look at the imprints that were created through your ancestral line, through your mother and your father, and the dynamics that they had and how they treated each other in relationships and other people, and how that was imprinted on you and how it was passed down on you. And that week also, I have a guest, Danielle, where she is going to do an energetic clearing. So she's going to go in and clear all the energies that have been passed down even further than your parents through the generations. That was from like your great grandma, like all of that, which can go so far down. She told me that one time it was like 20 generations down that she did a clearing. So this is a very, very powerful work that she's going to be doing. And it's perfect for this week, obviously, because we're going to be working on those energies that have been passed down on you, and she's going to clear that out. And then the third week, we're going to alchemize the shadow. We're gonna take a brave step into really facing the darkness that you haven't been able to see within yourself. And we're going to alchemize that. I'm going to give you my 5-step process that I do in order to shift that energy, because that energy does need to physically be moved out of you. And then the following steps after that to heal it, release it, forgive, all of that beautiful things. And so third week, fourth week, we're going to talk about the throat chakra and your solar plexus, right? So we need to activate those, right? Because they've been squashed, they have been dimmed, right? And these are the 2 chakras that really are the ones that are going to move you forward and really just like break that mold that you have, that has been layered on top of you, that has been all these programming, conditioning, fears, all of that stuff, and that protectiveness and all the pain and suffering like that. These 2 need to be activated to really move through. So we're going to be doing 2 powerful activations for that. Fourth week. Fifth week is when we're gonna move into the masculine and feminine energy. We're gonna talk about emotional intelligence and what to do when you feel triggered, so that you can have self-leadership within your life and in your relationships. And we're gonna do a sacred sensual dance, which I am so excited about this one. I am so excited because reclaiming your body for yourself as a woman and your sensuality is so powerful and really brings you home within yourself. In my experience, my body was not mine. I didn't make it mine. My body was my partner's. I gave it to him. I used sexy time for it to be like to fill that hole within myself, right? So my body was not mine. It was his. And also even how I expressed my body, because I was in a box, right? I was in this thing that he said that I could fit in. So reclaiming that, your own pleasure and your own sensuality is so powerful, especially for the women who feel that they aren't sexy, that they aren't any of that. It's not true. We're gonna reclaim that. And then we're gonna do a closing ceremony at the end. So within these 5 weeks, it's there's 2 to 3 calls a week. So we have a lot of work that we're going to be doing in these 5 weeks. It is a portal of your transformation into a sovereign woman. Like the graphic, if you see my graphic, it's the phoenix. Like I'm the phoenix. You are going to be that phoenix that burns herself, because the phoenix, in the myth and the legends, the phoenix burns itself and rebuilds itself from its own ashes. And that's what exactly the transformation that's going to be happening. It's a death and a rebirth. And what you're going to learn here, you're going to use it forever in your life. So you can continue to rebirthing yourself, because your life is a series of rebirths. You're never staying the same. You're always evolving. If you want, of course. But if you're here, I know you do. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM so that you can get the pre-sale price. I have the sales page link wherever it is on here. So you can look at it, make sure that it's a sovereign choice for you. Okay, make sure it's fully aligned for you. That is my prayer, that it really comes from your heart. And if you're here watching this live, I'm going to give you the pre-sale price. There is also the Flame of Truth, which is if you want a little bit more personalized work, you're going to get a one-on-one coaching session with me, so where you can really look at where it is that you are not in sovereignty and what are the blocks and how we're going to set that, release that, and also an intuitive reading. So I'm going to connect with our guides and our higher selves so we can see some other knowledge that we probably aren't seeing with our own humanness. And then you also get an actual one-on-one session with Danielle. So it's going to be even a more deeper clearing than when it is with a group, because this is a group program. Everything is held on Zoom. Of course, you'll have the recordings if you can't make it live, and it's going to be in Facebook, so you have community with other fellow women who are also wanting to experience this, who are in the same struggles. And of course, you can have easy access to the replay and the homework and all of that beautiful things, and where I can do some coaching with you inside of the group as well, outside of the calls. And that's it. So if this is for you, if this is a sovereign alignment feeling for you, please reach out to me. I'd be honored to have you there and to lead you through the transformation that I went through myself. And that's it for now. So I love you. I hope you have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.